Alright, so,
It's like more, like mid-game, kinda, or maybe more to the late game is where I'm mostly concerned. I probably did some things wrong, like I was probably sitting in lane. I wasn't sure about this game, I can't really remember too much, but just like in the situation that in the mid-game, like as soon as I left the base or TP'd anywhere, the Bloodseeker was just sitting there. Like, even if I didn't see him, he was there and would just instantly kill me.
That'll be fun. I'm gonna watch through the beginning real quick, though.
Alright.
This is good. It's good. I would stay mid until your Shadow Fiend comes back. You could have gotten, like, a creep or two. And then here, what's stopping you from going for the bounty rune? This one up here.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't sure if there was anyone. Like, I do that sometimes, and then I always die, so, like, I don't know. I guess an experience. I just don't like going there when someone's chasing me.
Yeah, I guess. I got you. It's I guess it's a game sense thing, and it's hard for me to, like, teach.
Yeah.
I don't like that you went for wand. You did not have the mango? Yeah, you didn't have the mango. So it's 400 gold, and it's it just doesn't, like, do as much for you as you want 400 gold to be doing for you.
Yeah.
Like the health regen, you're oftentimes not going to be missing health like you are right now, but wand is really good right now for heroes that barely can't sustain. And Shadow Shaman is not one of those heroes because he doesn't really, like, have to worry about sustaining because he's a fucking Shadow Shaman. Like the Chaos Knight might want to get something like that because then he has at least some type of regen, and he doesn't really want to build any other regen except for, like, a Helm of Iron Will into an armlet or something. But as a support, it's more of position 4, what I'm going to say, but I guess it's kind of support too, or position 5 too. But as a position 4, what I think of when I consider wand is it's usually, am I losing the game? And the more that you're losing the game, the more that I lean towards getting a wand. Because if you use quick buy and buy out the components of wand when you die, you can, like, kind of get it for free. Because you can always just buy out the parts before you die, and then you, instead of using your actual gold, you just use your death cost gold.
Yeah.
So
you talked about that last time.
Yeah, so in that way, your wand is kind of free. And then also, you hold on to the wand for 40 minutes instead of 20. But, like, wand is, it's not gonna really do much for you. And if you get your mana boots 2 minutes sooner, that has a huge impact as opposed to, or compared to the impact that you're gonna get from having your wand. Like, right now, you could have mana boots, and then when he comes back to lane, you guys can just kill him again. But now your Chaos Knight has, like, 1 spell left without... He has 2 if he tread switches. But, yeah. And then here, you're just kind of, like, sitting there for, like, 30 seconds, not doing anything.
Yeah. I could have went and got the runes or stacked or something.
It's, you're focusing on buying stuff out, but it's kind of like, you should only be focusing on buying stuff when you don't have anything else to do. So when you're running from one lane to another is a really good time to do it, or like you said, when you're running to a bounty rune is another really good time to do it.
Yeah, the OD was kind of bad every single time.
Yeah.
The SF was gonna die. You astraled him, and I was there.
Yeah.
He did that like 3 times.
And then there you zap that guy, and now you don't have mana for your combo. You get your clarities, I guess, but those clarities you wouldn't need if you went your mana boots. And then you also go a windlace, so it's like you could have had your mana boots at like 5 minutes, and now you're only gonna get them at like 10 or 11 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
And then here, when you saw the blood rate, you would want to. Is it cooldown? Kind of.
I maybe could have used it.
Yeah, maybe. It's not too big of a deal. Then I don't like you coming up here, because now your Murata kind of doesn't have anywhere to go, or if she does go top, then it's like your rotation was completely wasted. Because you're not going to do anything top when you've shown top. Like if you go top and it's like a surprise and you get shackles into arrow, then you might get a kill or some shit. But if you kill off a creep wave and then try and do something, it's not going to work because they know you're up there already. And I don't like that you're getting 3 points in this. At most, I'd get 2 points in it.
Okay.
Because it's gonna get canceled. The more points you have in it, the more likely you're not gonna get the full value of the spell. The second point in it's like kind of nice because of the damage. It's more than twice as much at level 2. But you want to get points in this. Because this scales just as well with the duration of the disable. But when you cast it, they're just hexed forever. So if you hex and get stunned, it doesn't matter. You still got the hex off. Whereas if you shackles and get stunned or silenced or whatever, then you're basically just wasting points of your talents. And then with this build, you're not going to have this maxed out at level 7, which means that you can't solo split push by nuking down creep waves with this and then dropping your wards, which is, it's huge to be able to do that. And by not having this skilled, you can't disable 2 people at the same time, which is a pretty big deal.
Okay.
Mana boots would be really nice. Lol. I was about to say this is a horrible rotation. I think it still is, but he made it not.
Blood right.
Yeah. You should have.
That I would have died.
Yeah, I think if you were gonna go bottom, you should have dropped your wards on the top tower first. Because it's like, it's 12 minutes in, and you're almost level 8 before you use your wards for the first time. You want to almost be using it off of cooldown. Like when I play Shadow Shaman, I like use your wards.
I tried, but I think I misclicked or something.
This hurts.
Go back. I swear I went over them.
This hurts. I would have just like not gone in, because if the enemies don't do anything, you're gonna get the courier from your wards. Like you can't.
There, I was freaking out. I was like, what's happening? Because I didn't mean to go in. Like, I just started diving the tower for some reason.
You clicked like one of them.
Oh, I was trying to drag.
It feels bad.
I was mad. I was like, I don't even know. That was
Mad cause
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
Something like that. Um,
You wouldn't know.
I was bad once. Lol.
I mean,
I like I like how your shadow or your shadow fiend ulted for that.
yeah. I was gonna talk to you about this, and I kept thinking about it, but I feel like I want to play roaming because I feel like down here, like in this MMR, uh, people don't really roam around, and people usually stick in lane a lot. So you're not. Often I find that people are getting free farm, and people aren't doing anything. So I kind of want to be like the person to, I guess, stop that.
Yeah, I like roaming because you can have an influence on whatever lane you think's important to have an influence on. Like here, this is an example where you having level 2 of this and having level 4 of this is going to be basically the same thing, except for you'll do more damage with the 4 points in it because it's going to be cancelled at around 1.5 seconds, which is the amount difference between 2 and 4. So in this same fight, you could have had the same impact with 2 points in this, except for a little bit of damage, and then also have 2 points in this, or even have this maxed out and have 1 point in this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like, this guy can cancel it 3 different ways. This guy can cancel it on you or on the target. This guy can cancel it. This guy can cancel it. This guy can cancel it. So the chances of you getting a 5-second shackles, where the 5 seconds is what got the kill, but 2.75 seconds wouldn't get the kill, the chances of that happening is very slim. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that.
So here, it's kind of like you could have a sheep right now to throw out on like this guy or whatever, or that guy. And then you even go the health before, like you can't be 17 minutes in the game without a first point in Hex. And also, do you understand how this is, the later the game goes, the harder it is to get a channel off? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
do you agree with that?
So yeah, everyone's gonna be team fighting.
Yeah, so this, like, having 4 points in this falls off very quickly. Like, by the time that you have this maxed, it's already fallen off. So it's kind of like, you'd rather just have a few more points in this.
Okay.
Also, Hex has a longer cast range and lower cast point, so if you tried to Hex him instead, you would have got it off. And then you just get deleted. Feels bad. I don't like you going bottom here. You have your wards up, and you're not gonna take a tower down here.
Yeah, I was just thinking I need to defend or something.
Yeah, well, it was your Marana was up at the same time, and she could have much better used the farm, and you could have much better pushed a tower than she could. So it's like, she's stronger than you in a sense, and you're stronger than her in a sense, and you just like play to each other's weaknesses, where you're just gonna go farm and not do anything, and then end up dying also, and then she's gonna go push a tower with her treads and Orb of Venom instead of you with your ult.
I think this is where it kind of started happening.
Part of it was you were late with your Hex.
Yeah.
And then I think it was you were late with your Hex and you ran around to get yourself low enough for Thirst to see you. I think if you just like stood still and then like if Axe ran at you, then run away from his call, like slightly. Like if you see him running here, just run to like right there. And he'll like try and call right here and you won't be in there. And you'll be fine.
But wasn't I invis before? I think they might have had a ward or something.
You were invis and then you ran around and cast spells and shit. Did they have a ward?
I swear they did. I could be wrong. Can you, like, if you get out of the perspective of me, then I think you can see it.
Do they? Yeah. Is that theirs? I think that's theirs.
Oh, yeah, it's theirs. Because I'm pretty sure I was invis before I went in and saw them.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The way that Axe was reacting, I think that Axe was like dodging the blood right, which made it look to me like he didn't have vision on you. But yeah, they ruptured you while you were invis, so makes sense. I think a lot of the reason that you're dying though is you're doing this shit where you're going off on your own. Like, have you noticed that every single time that you go off to do your own thing, you die like 30 seconds later?
Yeah.
You went bottom to push this out, and then you died to the Bloodseeker, and then you ran up here to do whatever, and you died, and then...
Yeah.
What was the... I think there was one more.
Yeah, just die Roche.
Yeah, or right here. You're pushing out mid, and you just die. It was this one here. So it's kind of like just recognizing when you're just food. And then when you're just food, you just want to group up with your team. Like, Shadow Shaman's really great for solo split pushing and dropping wards, but when they're killing you, like, you can't do that. And it's kind of like, you're not even trying to split push to take towers. You're just kind of like split pushing to split push, and then you're dying also. So it's, yeah, I think that's the main thing, really. It's just, you needed to identify that you can't be alone. They have too much pick off between this guy's blink, this guy's blink, this guy's rupture, and he has a Shudderblade. This guy has Atos too now, so any of them off the map can disable you long enough for any, like, you can just die from fog. Like, if you're, like, right here, and let's say they have a OD right here, he can just throw his Atox on you, and you die because of it. So,
yeah. And
this guy can just blink on you and totem you. This guy can just blink call you. This guy can just rupture bloodrite you. So, when they can just kill you from fog, you have to play like they can kill you from fog, which means try to position yourself in a way that if they go on you, it's good. Meaning that, like, your Shadow Fiend's like pushing this right here, and you're sitting over here, where if they go on you, that means your Shadow Fiend just like walks away and TPs. Or if they go on your Shadow Fiend, you can like disable them and shit. But when you're going here, if they go on you, they just get a free kill and then the ability to push. And then here, it's just kind of like you're trying to get a kill when they have all of these pick-off abilities, like blinks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you only have level 1 Serpent Ward, so they don't even do enough damage to matter. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. And I think that's just going to be, the rest of the game is going to be a continuation of that.
Alright.
Did you want to go over another one, or? Because this is, we can just keep, like, drilling it in, I guess, a little bit. We could at least do it for the next, like, 2 deaths. Because, like, here, this guy's pretty much fucked, and then you cancel you go through with your TP, and it's like, if they go on you right now, is that good?
No, I'm dead, and
yeah,
they get the tower.
Yeah.
I was retarded and didn't even level up my Serpent Ward for some reason. I don't know what was going through my head. I got Hex instead.
See, this is, all of your positioning here is fine. Because if they go on you at any point here, they're, like, gonna die. You're probably also gonna die, but, like, that's fine. And then your Shadow Fiend uses himself. And then right here, you're, like, kind of in danger, but he blinked away. And you're immediately running to a place where if they go on you, you're fine. So all of this is good. And then this is...
And then I walk back.
Yeah. There is some micro positioning mistakes, like stacking on top of other heroes. Like right now, if you get called, blink called, it's still on cooldown, but...
yeah, I get what you mean.
It's hard to have that sense while looking at a replay, but... But yeah. So do you have any other questions? I think, does that help make sense of why you guys lost the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like learning how to play support from behind, which is when you're just food, like stay behind your teammates. Understanding when you just can't leave on your own. And it's like, and then also your skill build was wrong. And that's actually really common. A lot of people max this when it's just kind of like the max potential of it's really cool, but it's like you're never gonna get that in a fight. And if you do,
I guess I was just kind of like playing before and it worked a couple times, and now it just
I mean, I think it's a phase that like everyone goes through. They play Shadow Shaman, where you're like, well, I'm just gonna get my fucking shackles, because it's like, the logic is, the disable goes up just as much as an extra point in Hex, but you also get damage, and then the mana is 1 spell instead of 2. Like if you had 2 points in this and 2 points in this, it's twice the mana, basically. For around the same amount of disable, it's 0.5 seconds more for this. But then you also get all the damage on it, so it's got its logic. It's just, on paper it's better, but it's never going to, the situations where it actually plays out, you would be just as fine with Hex, because if you're getting a 5-second shackles, the hero's probably fucking dead no matter what. So, how do I put it? Yeah, I think you get it.
Yep.
So yeah, I 2 points in this is like debatably fine, but after that, you don't really want anymore. So yeah, any other questions on this replay?
Not really. I was gonna ask, like, I play Shadow Shaman because it's like I play him quite a bit, and it's like kind of getting boring. Like, I just do the same thing over and over again. And I like playing other supports, and I do play other supports, but usually here everyone, as soon as the game starts, they select their heroes that they want to play, and no one wants to pick a different hero. And I look at the team and I'm like, okay, who has disables? And I'm usually the one that's always like, I have to get the disable because no one else wants it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just playing that often.
Lion's kind of another way to shake it up, where you're a disabler. You have the Hex, which is basically identical. And then you have a second disable, and then you have a large amount of damage, just not to towers. So this guy's like another way to mix it up. And Lion's really cool because Shadow Shaman, you like really want a mana boots, right? Like, you can't really function as a hero without mana boots on Shadow Shaman.
Yeah.
But with this guy, you can get 1 point in this, 1 or 2 points, and then your Tranquils, and you have all the sustain you need for the rest of the game. So he can stay on the map a lot better than Shadow Shaman can, with less gold. Because I look at boots, the cost of upgraded boots as minus 400, because you're always going to get boots. So I see Tranquils as like 550 gold, whereas mana boots are like 900. So for almost half the gold, you get basically infinite sustain. Whereas with Shadow Shaman, you don't. Mana boots is not that great of sustain. It's like 1 spell a minute. Using the active from it, it's more of you get the mana pool increase. So yeah, I think Lion might be a hero you want to try out.
Okay. I play like AA and Shadow Demon sometimes. I tried Jakiro a couple times, but I don't know.
The Shadow Demon and AA are very situational heroes. So you're probably not going to have the greatest success spamming them. Because like this guy's like a setup hero, and
yeah, for illusion.
Yeah. You want a hero that does well with bonus illusions, and you also kind of want a hero that uses your disruption beneficially, like a Mirana or a Kunkka or some shit like that, where they can like set up from your disruption. So it's kind of like, if you don't have a follow-up spell or an illusion hero, you're just kind of like a shitty Yules, essentially, for the rest of the game. And then AA, if the enemy team just runs at you in the early game, you're not going to do anything. So he's like, they're both heroes that I don't like picking in pubs, just because of the nature of the heroes. Bane's pretty good. I think they've been nerfing him recently. But he's still pretty good. And you can go Soul Ring on him, and you're pretty fucking tanky. And you have infinite sustain with Soul Ring in this, and you have a bunch of mana with, again, Soul Ring. Jakiro's he's pretty good. The only thing is his Ice Path is really hard to hit on heroes that need to get stunned. Like a Slark or a Storm Spirit or a Quap, they can like just jump out of this really easily. So it's kind of like the heroes that you want to stun the most are the hardest to hit with this. So it's kind of like a weird little thing. But yeah. I'd say try Lion. He's really he's basically the counterpart to this guy. They're like almost identical, except for this guy has sustain, and his ult doesn't work on towers. But yeah. So do you have any final questions or anything? I think we should wrap it up at 30 minutes, unless you want to do another replay.
Um, not really, but I just feel that, like, I want to learn roaming, but I guess I don't know, like, you say Clockwerk is good, but whenever I play him, I feel like he's just so bad.
I got you. I have 2 videos that I can send you that will help you, like, get the grasp of what to think about when you're roaming.
I think you sent me some
Did I?
already, and I was watching
Was it
them.
Pudge and Clockwerk?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you could do then, or what we could do now is, are either of these live? We could go through one of my replays.
Okay.
Because we have 30 minutes, and 30 minutes is, like, short for another lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I'll share my screen again. So with this guy, the build's pretty standard. Tranquils, Urn, Windlace, usually 4 staff. Next, I got the Spirit Vessel because the Enchantress and the Juggernaut, like, the Enchantress was kind of being annoying, so if I Spirit Vessel her, she can't heal herself. But aside from, like, specific cases like that, usually just want to get 4 staff and then Ags, and then possibly go back for the Spirit Vessel. And then your decision between, you start with Boots, Clarity, and Tingos, and then you, like, have extra gold to, like, get another Clarity if you want, or whatever, depending on the game. But your build is going to be Urn if you're snowballing, or Tranquils if you're not snowballing. And then the other one after. Here we're doing the Cogs trick to get the Shadow Fiend some damage. And because I started with Cogs, I'm probably going to go block the off lane with Cogs. Yeah. And I think the Brewmaster is screwing around with the creeps, so I kind of just lane for the first little bit. Next level plays. Let me know if you have any questions, and I can stop it and answer them.
Okay.
Here I'm just playing around the bounty rune. Figured he would, like, glimpse me if I showed. I think I got the mango for free, so I'm going for the wand.
Yep.
One of the reasons that I actually went with the Cogs is because I can't really do shit to a Quap. And it's kind of, as a position 4, if you can't gank the mid lane, you're gonna have, like, a harder time, no matter what. So, and then one of the things with starting with Cogs is you're gonna have a harder time in the beginning of the game, because you can't, like, 1v1 at level 1 with Battery Assault. So it's kind of like, I know I'm gonna be weak no matter what because there's a Quap, so I might as well go for the Cogs, and let this guy start with, like, 10 souls or whatever, so he can deal with the Queen of Pain. And then I can also, I was hoping to block the creep wave also, but like shit came up, and the brewmaster did some other stuff, but it ended up working out well.
Okay.
And I know I can't really do anything bottom to the Enchantress unless we have like 3 people there. So I'm just kind of like going top instead. And the bounty runes. Right. You always want to start with the raindrop. And then when you're building Urn, you want to buy everything except for the Ring of Protection when you fly it out, because you can get the Ring of Protection at the side shop. It's kind of the same strategy as Old Battle Fury, where you want to finish your Battle Fury the second that you get the gold, so you can have the most impact with it. And then also at like 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes ish in that area, I tend to look at my level and my experience, and then think about getting the tome. I get tome like 95% of my games, but the thought is, am I gonna hit level 6 with the tome at 10 minutes? And if the answer is no, then I start to think more about, like up until that point, I haven't put a single thought into my experience gain, and whatever my experience gain is just like what it is, except for like if somebody's like taking a stack and I can like leech experience or something. Aside from that, I don't think about my experience at all. And then at 6 to 9 minutes, I'm like, okay, maybe I want to start trying to get my my alt at level 10. So I threw in the tome for my quick buy there. And then
wait, you get your alt at level
10? At 10 minutes, I mean.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I said, but I think that's what I mixed up.
Level 10.
Yeah.
You get your alt.
I gotcha. No, you definitely get it at level 6. And then this is a small thing with Clockwerk, is I know I can't hit her very well because of the slow, so I move towards the back of the cogs, so at least my battery assault is going to be hitting her instead of the creeps. It doesn't end up getting us the kill, but it's a small little thing.
Okay.
And then here I can finish my urn up here. And then I'm gonna, at around like 12 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna switch to the other one, the other replay, see if that one's still up, because I think that's the most important thing, is the first 10 to 15 minutes. After that, it's like you're just playing a Clockwerk.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think he's like, I don't know if I just had a bad experience with him, but I feel like whenever I cog somebody, or if I go and fight somebody, I always just end up dying, even if I have my battery assault on, even for the same level.
One of the main things with Clockwerk is getting a Force Staff as your first item, and that makes you a lot more survivable, because you can ult in and then Force Staff out while cogsing people. So they're trapped in there, and then their team, if they try and go on you, their team, if they try and go on you, they're a lot more likely to get like knocked back with cogs and shit. So Force Staff makes you like extremely tanky, or at least like survivable, I should say. And then you go the Windlace just because like it's a tenth of the cost of the next item that you're gonna get, so it's pretty value. I figured I should have checked her inventory. She had a raindrop and a wand. Also, another thing with Clockwerk is most of the time you want to get this maxed out at level 10 instead of getting your talent. Because when you have this maxed out, it's basically with 2 flares you can push out a lane, whereas at level 3 you need 3 flares. So the cooldown, it takes, it's every 24 seconds you can push out a lane instead of every, whatever that would be, 40, 40, like 8. So the cooldown to push out a lane is like almost half.
Okay. You're talking about Spirit Vessel, like stopping the healing. It stops healing. Like I didn't know that.
It's 70% of, it stops 70% of regeneration and healing on targets that you cast it on.
Okay.
It's,
Good to know.
yeah. It's, so that's, usually the only time that I'll get this first item is against a Huskar. And if you wait for the Huskar to ult somebody and then put the Spirit Vessel on him, he usually just dies because his ult will take it off, so you kind of like want to wait. And then also, he's low and he's committed, so when you throw it on him, he loses 70% of his healing and he just kind of dies. But yeah, this game, the Enchantress is kind of a problem, so I decided to, I think, did I go Spirit Vessel first? I think I ended up switching and going Spirit Vessel first.
Yeah, I think you did in the items.
See, like, we can't do anything about her because she's just healing for, what is that?
100 a second.
Yeah,
Or,
for 11 seconds, and we can't attack her in the first place. So my Spirit Vessel will reduce it from 100 to 30, and then also do, I think it's 3%. Is it 3%? Yeah, 3% of their current health per second plus 20 damage. So it'll like make her healing disappear and then some. So it's going to be doing like 110 damage per second if she has her her thing on. Yeah, I switch here. Alright, I'm gonna go to the other one. Hopefully it's still valid. I don't know if this means it's weird or not.
when you play with people that are like, let's say 100 or maybe 50 ranks higher, can you notice that they're better than per se you or someone around your level or rank, I guess?
Not so much. I don't think this is working. It's kind of like, I don't think about it much. I might, like, if it's like Arteezy or some shit, I might focus him more or value him as more important than other people, but like, and then I also might listen to, I think this guy was pretty vocal, so I might listen to him more, but it's not like they're so good that I feel uncomfortable playing against them or anything like that, or they just like blow my mind with how they play or anything. But yeah, this one isn't loading. So do you have any questions? Did you have a replay of Clockwerk that we could watch actually?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So we can cut it here then and call it 45. So yeah, do you have any final questions?
Well, I was gonna. This might take too long, or I don't know how. Even if you could answer this, but
Go for it.
like I feel like counter picking is like. How do you feel about it? I guess.
You should be first or second picking as a support. So,
Yeah.
I love counter picking, and I'm huge into drafting. But by the nature of having the first or second pick, and it's usually I have to first pick. So the only thing that I know about the enemy team is literally nothing. So when I go and I pick and I'm first pick, like I have zero information. Like this game, I knew they had a disruptor, and that's all I could counter pick off of, which is nothing to counter pick. So all of my games essentially are the same thing, and I have the same information every game, which is like a shitty support, or that's about it. So with that in mind, the two heroes that I would be fine picking would be a Clockwerk and a Night Stalker, because both of those heroes, no matter what the enemies pick, I've never felt out of place with these two heroes, regardless of the drafts. The main thing is, like, let's say they have a AM, Quap, and a Puck as their safe lane, mid lane, and carry. Or safe lane, mid lane, and off lane. How would you feel about playing a Pudge that game?
You're kind of screwed.
Yeah. You're screwed for like 20 minutes. And then if you're screwed for 20 minutes, you're screwed for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And then the same's like kind of true with Spirit Breaker, or depends on who you have. Like if you have set up for it, Earth Spirit 2 kind of. It's basically, these are the only heroes that if they did draft that, like it'd still fucking suck, at least for Clockwerk. But like you could still do stuff. And then Night Stalker, those heroes that are balanced around their spells saving their lives, they're squishy if they don't have those spells. So come nighttime, he has a 5-second silence and they just die. So, that's why I only first pick, or that's why I spam these two heroes, and it's right now it's mostly Clockwerk. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yep.
And then for position 5, it's just kind of like pick something that's not polarizing. Like if you pick a AA and they don't pick any healing and they pick early game, you can't do anything. But like if you pick a Dazzle or a Shadow Shaman or a Lion, you're kind of like always fine. Like there isn't any like draft that's just gonna be like, well, they picked a Lion, let's fucking do this or whatever. But if you pick like a AA or something, or then they might be able to draft around that, or like a Coddle or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, so any other questions?
No, that's it.
Great. So hopefully that helped.